Hey everyone, nice to have you all here. Thank you, Real Vision, for having us. Today we have Jeffrey, aka Jiho, from Sky Mavis, the creators of Axie Infinity, Gabby, the co-founder of Yield Guild, and then Jan and I are co-founders of Delphi Digital, and we're investors and have helped design certain aspects of Axie and Yield Guild as well. But yeah, how are you guys doing, Jeffrey and Gabby?
Good, good.
Yeah, feeling good. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So, by now everyone's probably heard about Axie Infinity in at least a conversation or two. I feel like you guys are almost a household name, but for all the Real Vision members, let's kind of like start from the top, right? So, Jiham, how about you kind of walk through, what Axie Infinity is at a high level? Like, what is an Axie even?
Sure. So Axie's broad goal is to introduce the world to something that's new and a little bit scary through something that's fun, relatable, and a bit nostalgic. So Axies, on the surface, they're kind of like these digital pets. They might seem like Pokemon or Tamagotchi. So they're these pets that you can battle and collect. But the kind of secret sauce is that we've used crypto and blockchain to really empower our users, make them owners of the game. And there's been this model that's emerged, right, called play to earn, where gamers all around the world have been able to turn their time and effort into real money, but basically farming these in-game resources that are tokenized and can be sold on these open markets. So yeah, I guess Axie isn't just one game; it's an entire universe of games. So right now you can battle your Axies, you can breed them, but we're also working on other forms of gameplay that we'll be rolling out over the coming years.
Nice. And I want to give Gabby like an opportunity to talk through Yield Guild, but maybe it's like helpful to first give people some context about actually dive in a little bit deeper there. Like, so obviously, Real Vision wouldn't have you guys on just for being like a random game. You guys have some insane metrics, right? So you have over 1.3 million daily active users. I think you just hit $1.5 billion in all-time NFT sales like today. You have over 800,000 Discord users. I'm not sure if that like makes you the biggest Discord yet or something like that, but I'm sure some of these metrics maybe even a bit still. Like, why has it been growing so fast this year, right? You guys have been at this for a while.
Sure. So building an NFT game or a blockchain game until this point has been quite difficult. So you need to create a fun game, but you also need to work on blockchain infrastructure, right? The tools that even enable you to build a blockchain game just didn't exist when we started out. Over the last couple of years, we've been, building this game, building this amazing community, but also building tools, right? So we have our own scaling solution called Ronin, which basically, so like Ethereum is amazing, but it's quite slow and expensive, which is prohibitive for a gaming experience. So we migrated from Ethereum to our own side chains, a scaling solution called Ronin, and that really, once we paired that with our marketplace, our game, our community, that's kind of what led to parabolic growth. And I think this was the first time where a community, a blockchain gaming community at a certain scale, was able to basically kind of be unleashed by this, by a scaling solution. But yeah, it's a lot of factors, right? Like it's the community, it's the fact that we were building through a bear market when nobody really cared. So I think the world is finally waking up to this trend and to how NFTs empower users across a bunch of verticals, right? Like art, gaming, collectibles. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess like Gavin, you've been around the Axiom community for years now, even deeper than even Jan and I, right? Can you tell us a little bit about how you kind of saw the growings of this community, and maybe a little bit more about your journey, and then kind of like introduce Yield Guild as well?
Sure. So I've been a game developer for the last 18 years. Discovered Ethereum in 2017 and NFTs in early 2018. So I met Gio in the conference circuit, started playing Axie Infinity in October 2018. And yeah, last year, this time actually was the time when people in the rural area in my country, the Philippines, started discovering Axie Infinity as a way to earn money during the lockdown. And they discovered that they actually earn multiple times the amount of money that they earned from the jobs they were laid off from the local opportunities. So that was an incredibly eye-opening experience. That and people in the community discovering that they could lend out the excess axes that they had to these people who were coming in to play to earn. Yeah, basically led to the formation of Yield Guild. So Yield Guild is what we call a play to earn gaming guild. We invest in NFTs, so we have over 20,000 axes. We have a lot of land. We have a bunch of NFTs in different games as well, and then we lend them out to our player community so that they can play these games and earn an income from them. So yeah, that's the basic definition of a play to earn guild.
Nice. Yeah, I guess like yeah, maybe you can dive into Jiho gave a little bit of a teaser of what play to earn exactly is. Walk through why crypto gaming is kind of like an avenue that obviously us at Delphi are so excited about, but now everyone else around the world is also like waking up to.
No, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the play to earn is the idea that players can participate in the game, earn an asset that they can then sell within the game to other players, and so you have like an economy that kind of exists there. And you know, it is you've had these elements in previous games where in World of Warcraft or Diablo, basically gold was valuable, and you'd have some players who can play and farm this item and then sell it and make good money relative to what they can make elsewhere. And at the same time, you have other players that are looking to purchase this resource and might not have the time or the patience to necessarily farm it. And so for them, the price is less of an issue. And so um, the key to all of this is ensuring that you do have a sustainable economy that works and can scale over time to kind of bring in new users. And so we think what crypto enables is that in the traditional world, you had these game developers and game makers create barriers and make it very difficult for users to sell these items, to collect them. They had to trust third parties. There were technical frictions. And so it just made it really burdensome. Whereas here, it's effectively encouraged and they make it a lot easier to kind of go through the hoops and list your assets, sell them. But there's a lot more transparency. And so, yeah, the key to all this is really ensuring that you do have some level of sustainability where it's not just players coming in and selling an item that's relatively useless. You do need a good game around it that can feed off of it and basically allow allow there to be their demand on the other side. And so over time, you can kind of start to tweak these components, and then I'm sure Gabby and Jeff will go into that as well a bit more. But you do it's a very interesting economy, but it needs to be well balanced. I think that's kind of the part that gets overlooked, where the biggest initial skepticism is like, how is this sustainable and how does this make sense?
Yeah, let's actually dive into that like right now, right? So, Jiho, obviously, I think Axie is one of the first like very obvious metaverse plays before metaverse was a buzzword. And I think one thing that you've constantly said is like, you guys are just working on your first product, which is still in alpha. Like, what do you exactly mean when you say that? What is that first product, and how does that work?
So yeah, we see ourselves building an entire universe. We see Axie not just as a game, but as this kind of fully functioning digital economy that's starting to take on these characteristics of a nation. Right, we have this really engaged community with deep social and economic ties to each other. There's shared pastimes, culture. So yeah, we see this as much more than a game. And we think that this could be very significant for the way online communities work together, play together moving forward. But yeah, we're still quite early in development. So we've been working on Axie since 2018. But yeah, that's not a lot of time considering, right? Like there's been so much to build, right? Like we built an NFT marketplace, our own wallet, our own side chain, gaming features. Players obviously always want new content and more content. We're working on a DEX, right? So 25% of our players are unbanked right now. So I think we have a really amazing opportunity to provide some basic financial services to these to many of our users that have never really been able to even have a stable source of income, let alone something like a debit or credit card. So yeah, I think the idea for us is to really leverage the network effect, right? So one of the problems with blockchain and crypto is that there are no kind of widely adopted consumer apps, right? So one of our goals is just to become the first blockchain consumer app that hits a certain scale, and we can leverage that position to move into a bunch of verticals, right? Financial services, e-commerce, right? We can become like the Disney of crypto by gobbling up IP. So yeah, I think because we've hit this scale and gotten to this level of network effect, I think that opens up a lot of opportunities if we keep our feet on the gas pedal.
Yeah, no, I think an important thing to like really dive into there is kind of like just how strong that community is, right? In crypto, community is a word that's thrown around, basically for every protocol, every token. But I think one thing Jan, the Delphi team, and myself kind of realized very early on, just being in your Discord when it was a fraction of what it is today with its 800,000 players, is just how strong that community is, right? And DeFi, or other sections of crypto, liquidity is a commodity, but so is community to some degree. Where you'll see very strong DeFi protocols almost lose some interest if they're not, their number isn't going up or they're not like innovating fast enough. Whereas the Axie community, you guys were, building through the bear, but just getting stronger by the day, right? What's your retention rate right now for like the Axie community?
Yeah, so it's quite rare for important Axie community members to leave the ecosystem. In fact, I could probably count them on like one hand, the number of like super important, influential people within the community that have left. So people rarely leave the Axie ecosystem. In terms of like retention rate, nine of 10 players that are playing that own Axies on the first day are still playing a month later. So I mean, obviously, right? It's not just a game. That's something that people are doing for fun. There's also economic aspects to it, right? It's something more like a side gig, or for many people a main source of income. So
hey, if you like this clip, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/crypto. It's 100% free. Sign up now.